Dear community, what a beautiful Friday morning. Together with me is Christopher Ouko. Christopher will tell us where he is tuning in from. But our topic today is choosing impact, not just aid. So, what are the lessons? We are going to ask ourselves, what are the lessons we can learn from humanitarian field? We are so much thrilled to have you here with you, dear Christopher. And dear community, we are also so happy if you're listening to us. Tell us good morning. We are telling you also good morning. And please engage with us so that you know where you are coming from or you are tuning in from and what you would love to add on this beautiful topic. Now, choosing impact, not just aid, it's something that I think we should all reflect on daily. And I know it's very difficult, but now we have you, Christopher, with a lot of experience over decades, at least over one decade, in this field, humanitarian field. And we are asking ourselves, what can we leaders or people or communities, industries or economy learn from you? Welcome.
Thank you very much, Susan. My name is Christopher Ouko. I work with an international NGO. I've
Mm,
worked for the same field for about 18 years in various duty stations and
mhm,
several operations. And
mhm,
currently, I'm tuning in from Kenya, the Dab
mhm.
refugee camp to be specific. I'm happy to join you. I'm happy to share my experience with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the way from the Dab refugee camp in Kenya, and you've got stable internet connection. Oh my God, that's
Yes.
fantastic. I know I should be surprised, but sometimes I get surprised. And because it's also related to our topic, what we always call development aid, it's like we are here and you're here, but that's not the case. I'm challenging myself. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And now, Christopher, how many countries have you ever been to work in this field?
Wow.
Just the number
Yes.
or on the names if you want.
I've been to South Sudan. I've been to northern
Mm,
Uganda. I've been
mm,
to Germany, and I've been to
mm,
Poland for work. I've also been
wow.
to Senegal for some
Mm,
training. Senegal in Western Africa.
mm,
Yeah.
wow. So happy to hear that. A lot of experience, the package you're bringing you with you. And dear community, we'll go through this agenda or questions. Why doing good isn't always enough. Second, what leaders in any field can learn from humanitarian decision making. And the third point will be the power of choosing impact. As the theme of this year is the power of choice. Now, three ways to check your decisions for real human value and why it matters in business. We'll get all these answers from Christopher, but feel free to ask your questions or supplement. Is that a right word? Give us more input if you have experience or another perspective on this matter. Wow. Now, Christopher, let's start right ahead. I'm so sure, and I believe your work is very relevant, right? And I know that people really need you, and the human value, putting human value on top is also a very good thing to do, a very good principle. But why doing good isn't always enough is something that I'd love to discuss with you today. What do you think? Why is doing good not always enough? Please.
Yes, as I mentioned, I'm in the humanitarian world, and we deal with the people who have been forcibly uprooted, who have fled persecution in their respective country. When people come to a camp,
Mm-hmm.
they technically they do not have anything. So the first immediate thing is always to settle them, give them food, shelter, and other basic needs.
Mm-hmm.
My motivation for working for the humanitarian world was always to, give back to the community, provide any necessary support to less fortunate people. As we have seen in many operations, and I have experienced, I'm in the camp that was set up more than 30 years ago. And in the camp, we provide food, shelter, and other basic necessities. And imagining that we have people who have been receiving aid for more than 32 years is quite a long time. Personally, if I would to do this all over again, I would prefer to build their capacity, support their livelihoods, abilities, so that they are able to do business on their own rather than receive aid for 30 years. 30 years is basically 2 or 3 generations. So after 30 years, we have a third generation also expecting to be given food and the other basic necessities, including education. Had we capacity built these refugees and given them livelihood opportunities, we would only have to invest in newly arrived refugees and give them opportunities so that they are able to do business, to explore income generating activities, and be able to fend for themselves. As we speak, there's a freeze on humanitarian aid, and we are doing very badly at the moment. We are not able to feed refugees as we've always been. So imagining that we would only have had to feed fewer people, newly arrived refugees, it would have been a better way of managing resources, because most refugees who have been in the camp for the longest period would have been able to fend for themselves. So in terms of resources, we would have been having enough resources to provide to new arrivals, as well as put in other investments that they may need.
What?
Other
I get you.
things.
Sorry, I get
Yes.
you loud and clear. Please continue.
Yes, other things that we have done in the camps, just so to set the discussion going, through our implementing partners and other organizations, international organizations, we have built schools, we have built hospitals, and we have sunk boreholes, so we are able to provide water continuously. In these schools and hospitals, we have staff, professional staff, some of who are refugees, fortunately, and we are also able to capacity build the local host community and the government, so there is adequate security. Although in this particular area, the security situation is not very good. Once in a while, we have had terrorist attacks, but the Kenyan government is able to provide adequate response and contain the situation in the camp and its environs.
Yeah. Wow. You started by underlining your motivation, your why. You have the chance, you have the opportunity to do this humanitarian work as a profession. And many of us do not feel it the way you feel. At the same time, there's the urge of doing something impactful. So mostly we do something besides our normal work to get that done. But we're also addressing a very important point. How can we, if someone like that's the third generation you are helping, I mean, people do not it's also touching human rights, right? It's also there's no financial independence, there's no independency at all. And the third
Mhm.
generation getting aid, that's really tough. That's really tough. So the question is, what kind of future are we really building while talents are there, really there? So you are
Mhm.
questioning the strategies. At the same time, you are counting very good things you've been doing, like hospitals, schools, of course, they're basics, and recruiting refugees, ex-refugees to work for you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for this great work you've been doing. Dear community, if you have any question now or even after the recording, please feel free to ask
Mhm.
Christopher. And the point was, doing good isn't always enough. And in your explanation, I got it that we have to question the impact we are creating with the measures we make. And I think in the third point, we'll talk about that. How can we challenge our decision making so that we add value on real human value? Thank you so much for this. Thank you so, so much. Uh, let's move on to the second point. Um, Now, you also mentioned that you are under pressure. Security, it's not something that you can count on every day, but your motivation to help with an impact is stronger than, the insecurity you feel. So,
Mhm.
what can leaders in any other field, industries, economy, IT, whatever, can learn from humanitarian decision making? What do you
Uh,
think,
thank,
please?
thank you for that question. As I mentioned, over 30 years, we've been doing the same thing over and over. And right now, things have changed.
Mm,
There's much less funding than we
mm,
used to have. So,
mm,
uh, anyone in business should look at it as the lesson we should pick from this is we should prioritize where our resources go as we look
mm,
forward. Um, At the same time, of course, we already have accountability. For every dollar we receive, we have to account for it. So as we invest in uh, in as we pour in resources for the refugees, of course, many will argue that refugee situations are usually temporary, so we may not want to invest in the long-term projects, but you never know. People come to the camp, people leave. Others go back to their countries, others go to third countries. So, whatever investments we put, we should prioritize on, we should set our priorities right. I'll give you an example.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Please.
we are in a desert. There's no
Mm,
electricity, so we have to rely on fuel generators. Um, had we invested in solar energy fully, of course, we have projects that run with solar, but on a small scale. Had
yeah.
we put in solar fully, we would have just been relying on the sun, and there's a lot of sunshine,
Oh, yes.
I can assure you. So, um, while we have reduced resources, now we have to resort to minimizing our movement, try to reduce the amount of fuel we use in our daily activities, and that means cutting down on transport. Uh, Occasionally, we have to do some power rationing to save fuel because we do not have the money we may need to install solar facilities at this point in time. So had we done that many years ago, the amount of fuel we
Mm,
would have had to use would just be on transport um, and maybe emergency power generators. But as we are not at a very good point. So we have to do power rationing, and during power rationing, you can imagine everything goes off, including internet. So we are temporarily grounded. So we have to use the little that we have to continue serving the people we have in the camp.
Yes, I get you. I
Yes.
get you. Uh, do you have something to add on that, or can I ask my
Yeah,
small question?
you can ask your question.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So I get you. You're talking about the resources and prioritizing, and also
Mhm.
reflecting on had you thought of sun, investing
Yes.
in sun, that I mean that would have been in solar panels
Mhm.
infrastructure, that would have been amazing. You're talking about
Mhm.
the infrastructure, and what I would love to ask is, under this pressure, with limited resources, still your decision affects the human immediately. How do you go about with that as a leader?
Mhm. Yes, we prioritize on core activities. So
Mm,
while we have to do power rationing, we make sure the hospitals receive power full
mm,
time. The emergency vehicles, the police vehicles, as well as the ambulances have unlimited coverage of the
mm.
whole camp. So, but activities that do not need continuous power can, we have more or less a timetable that ensures that all activities are covered, but not fully.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
get you. I
Mm-hmm.
get you. So you ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself what kind of activities, what kind of tasks
Mm-hmm.
are not
Ex-
really urgent right now because hospitals have
exactly.
a direct impact on human
Mm-hmm.
health, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I get you
Yes.
loud and clear. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is something we miss in the industry, in mostly where I am, where most listeners probably are, because we don't see the real impact on human value. We see figures. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's part of our third point. I won't ask you here, I'll leave you to answer the third question
Mm-hmm.
first. But
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to bring this view that our decisions, with our decision, you don't see the impact. You will see the impact. If you make this
Exactly.
decision today, tomorrow you'll see who is affected, and it
Mm-hmm.
helps you reflect in a different way, I suppose. What do you think?
Exactly. That's very correct. And
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that accountability is something we take very seriously in the
Mm,
humanitarian world, and there is zero waste, totally
mm,
no waste when it comes to our resources, because every
mm,
little dollar, every single dollar counts when it comes to humanitarian response. And that adds to that the confidence that the donors have in us, the humanitarian aid agencies.
mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm getting three keywords there: prioritizing not only on the infrastructure or resources, but also on the
Mhm.
task, the impact you want to create,
Mhm.
and accountability, you know,
Mhm.
and being dynamic, flexible. Like now the
Yes.
funds are frozen. What do you do now? Deciding,
Mhm.
making decisions. Actually, the act of making decision, being able to make a decision, you cannot do without making a decision. But in the
Exactly.
industry, mostly you would see that people fear making decisions. But I think because they don't see the
Mhm.
impact, what will happen if you do not make a decision?
Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Let's move on to our third point and last point: the power of choosing impact. That means
Mhm.
it's intentional. What three ways do we have to ask to check our decision for real human value?
Wow. That's that's broad.
A tough one.
Yes. Uh, but I'll go. I'll take the approach of priority, the
Mhm.
activities that we have given priority. And
Mm.
sorry, I forgot to mention education, but
Oh,
because I was
yes.
responding to resources, power resources,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
um, education is one of the sectors that receives a good amount of money, because in the
Uh-huh.
long run we build refugees' capacities to fend for themselves when
Yeah.
they go to third countries or when they go back to their countries, or when they become adults and need uh, to work for themselves, to fend for themselves. So
Yeah.
uh, we have schools in the camps, and from these schools we have refugees who perform very well and get sponsors to go to our local universities or universities out of the country, universities in third countries. So some of them come back to work in the camp. Some of them
Mm.
go and work in other refugee camps outside the camp. So as we build their capacity, and in fact, some of the refugees are very talented. There's a lot of talent in the refugee camps that we support, and under our livelihoods program, we have some activities that they do, especially the adults who came in and did not have so much education. We still have activities that they do, and that also receive a significant amount of resources to to for
Yeah.
the refugees. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Building strategically building the future and making people
Yes,
empowering people. The keyword here is
exactly,
empowering them. Yeah. I love
exactly.
that. I love that. That's a great
Yes,
success story. Yeah. Thank you so much.
yes. So in the refugee world, we always say refugees are not any less human beings. They are real people. They are not numbers. They are real people. Any single person displaced is too much for us. Every single life matters. So um, when they
Yeah.
arrive in the country, they go through some form of registration, and during that we try to capture their levels of education and skills that they have so far acquired that we can build on. We have received
Mm.
medical doctors, we have received engineers, we have pilots, and we have lawyers, and it's amazing what talent they possess. So
Mm.
whenever they come, they join us in the camp. We make sure we empower them, and they also take part in the management of activities in the camp.
The sense of belonging. They get
Yes,
involved.
yes.
Wow.
Mhm.
And do you have all these, like, is it stated somewhere? Is it part of your culture? Is it like a checklist? How does it
Uh,
work?
and not really. We have processes, and in the
Mm.
process, we'll always get we will always fit the refugees where they belong.
Mm.
During the registration process, we capture all their biodata, and as an organization, we have different departments. I didn't mention my background is ICT, so I provide
Yeah.
data analysis, data management and analysis, and we have had companies in the country who have approached us and asked us to provide individuals with some expertise. We have had five-star hotels reach out to us and ask for chefs. We have uh, our local hospitals here who required some expertise in the camp, and so on and so forth. So
Wow.
yes. So in that analysis, we are able to we are able to place them where they belong or where they want to be. Okay, and
Mm.
And during my early years of data analysis, there was no biometrics yet, so we were using just available data. And one of my key moments was when I was able to, I picked out 2 individuals who are related to each other, but who neither of who knew the other was in the country. So we were able to match them and refer them to the department that deals with family reunification, and they were reunified. Yeah. So
Wow. So you're really
it
using the data collected in a very
yes,
positive way. Connect
yes.
family and
Mhm.
also for a bigger purpose and also connected to the
Exactly.
economy. I love that. Please continue.
Uh, yes, I'm open to questions at this point in case
All
anything wasn't
right.
clear or I triggered some curiosity. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. There's so many things we can learn from you. And
Yes.
in that case, it's under pressure. I'll just repeat what I
Exactly.
noted down. Uh,
Hmm.
empowering, like it's for me, it's like I love checklists. I'm from college
Yes.
management. So it's like, wow, is it empowering? Is what I'm doing really empowering?
Hmm.
Is this a number or life? As you said, for you,
Hmm.
they're not numbers, that you see them as human with values and you want to promote them. You see
Hmm.
the talents, you use the data analysis to connect to the economy for a bigger purpose. Wow. And you want to create this sense of purpose and sense of belonging, right?
Hmm.
Wow. For me, I would
Yeah.
then write a short checklist just in case under pressure, I forget that. And that's my
Uh-huh.
question. Because you work under pressure, you work anytime you talked about also insecurity. And when insecurity comes, you think first of your life. How is it possible that you still think of others when your life is in danger? That's wow.
Hmm.
How do you
Yeah.
do that under pressure? Making sure it still has a human impact.
Hmm. Yes. As I mentioned, we have many departments.
Mm,
One of which is very active is the security department,
mm,
and uh, there is adequate security where
mm.
we live, where we are
Ah,
based,
yes.
and they make sure that the compound is secure. And prior to any movements, there is monitoring. They provide the necessary advice and which routes to take, which is very key in this kind of environment. So uh, under the guidance of our security and intelligence community, we are able to know what's happening around us and when to move, when not to move. And we also share with them our plans, so they can always advise us when we are when when we are able to move freely without any hiccups.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we are, as much as we have different departments, to further answer your initial question,
Mm,
after registration, uh, we'll capture skills, we'll also capture vulnerabilities, and right after registration, uh, any other sectors, we provide reports,
mm,
weekly updates. So the department that deals with the children will immediately pick any new entries, children that need foster care or children that needs further assessments. We have other vulnerabilities that need immediate intervention. We have organizations that deal specifically with vulnerable people.
Yeah.
So every now and again, we'll provide data, we'll provide any information they need, and they also do their assessments and share with us for continuous updates. So our refugee database is ever live in terms of feeding any information to our partners and also to our donors. So the donors know which areas to prioritize and which areas need more funding in the near future. And that really helps a lot.
Yeah, you're talking about keeping the data up to date so that you
Yes.
make value-based decisions. You are in a position to make decisions anytime. I mean, with time, it's in you. It's part of your culture. I can feel it. I can hear it. And thank you so much for sharing all this with us. Amazing, amazing. Dear
Yes.
Christopher, time is over. Unfortunately, I could listen to you for the next 3 hours or the whole day. This is amazing. I'll meet you at the backstage. And dear community, thank you for listening to us. If you have your question, just post it either on LinkedIn or YouTube. Christopher or I will be able to answer that. All is recorded. And just for a quick summary, we talked about why it's important to choose impact, not just aid, and why it's important to think strategically. What kind of activity do we prioritize? Do we really empower people with whatever we do? Do we see people as numbers or as lives? So, and what can we learn from not only from the decision-making point of view, but also on managing? What can we learn from humanitarian work? Thank you so much, dear Christopher. Do you have
Thank you.
maybe a last word for us today? For anyone listening, a last word, please.
Yes, thank you, Susan. Many people preparing to venture into the corporate world may not always know what's there in the humanitarian world, but there are job opportunities in the humanitarian world, and I encourage people to try their luck, and it's quite satisfying to work and provide assistance to people in the camp who are less fortunate, whose the result of the efforts are seen and appreciated right there and then. So thank you.
Wow, amazing. Sense of
Yeah.
purpose, sense of fulfilling. I'll leave it at that. Thank
Yes.
you so much. Powerful, powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
See you on the backstage, dear community. See you
Yes.
next time.
Bye bye. Thank you.